Get your beer, he says. Get your beer. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, or as I like to call it, happy new comic book day eve. Wow, I almost fucked that up. Yes, this is not a mirage. This is not magic, but internet does work now. So I apologize for what happened on Sunday. That was a little shit fest. I guess there was an outage in my area. So I just want to give a big shout out to Face and BC for holding it down, keeping the conversations going. I have no idea what they said. Somebody told me that they said I was gone to look at My Little Pony or some shit like that. No, that was not the case. But, you know, that is Face. So, yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Got a good show for you. So this is the second part. And I don't know why I say second part. It's going to be kind of a show we do probably every month, just, you know, uncut, nothing script. Well, we're never scripted, but, you know, just conversations, any comment or question that the chat might have, yo, bring it. Let's go. Let's talk about it. That's what I mean by uncut. If you're here for nudity, one, Mr. Key Issues is not here. He's usually the guy doing that. And two, this is probably not the channel for you. So with that in mind, let's bring in the fellas. Let's bring in the Musketeers. First up into the newbie verse, we've got my man, Mr. FaceTime. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro? It was the Little Mermaid you were going to look at.
Oh, Little Mermaid. Somebody messaged me and they're like, dude, did you go and watch My Little Pony? And I was like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, Face said that you were watching My Little Pony. I was like, I'm pretty sure
the Little Mermaid, the live action Little Mermaid movie or something.
Yeah, no. So yeah, just internet issues. But yeah, thanks for holding it down. If something does happen to the internet this time, at least, you know, this is uncut. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want with it. So yeah, now let's bring in the other guy. The other guy, no disrespect. Let's bring in number two.
Yeah, big old number two.
Place to be, and I'm finally gonna meet him on Saturday. Me, Mr. Key Issues, Comic Dude, Hyper, we are all meeting up in Kingston, Ontario this Saturday. So what that means is if you're in the area and you want a picture, it is $500 a picture. If you want it signed to say newbie or newbie verse, I will charge $1,200. If you want a piece of my shirt or a newbie t-shirt, guess what? Another $1,200. What's up, BC?
Junior can't even get those prices.
I'm not prices. That's not comparative, man.
I'm not even coming anymore. Because I'm number two. The fuck?
So yeah, man, welcome. Appreciate both of you guys you know, holding it down. But let's get serious before we start the show. Let's say hello to the people in the chat.
Yeah, man.
And then let's get the show going. We got lots to talk about. We usually run about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, you know, last time we did this show, we ran super, like it was at the 2 hour mark. And, you know, in the backstage, we were like, fuck, we could have went like 6 hours. So first up, Newbie Comics. What's going on, man? I hear he's going to be in Kingston on Saturday. So I'm just kidding about the prices, by the way, guys. I would never charge anything. I don't even expect people to take pictures. I'm just saying, you know, I was just having some fun with the RDJ stuff. So yeah, Newbie Comics taking the gold. Technically, Just Cruz, my guy, is taking home the gold. Dan is right. I'm disqualified. So Dan is taking the silver. Bleeker, that's 2 out of 3, 2/3, 66% is taking medals and bringing them to Canada. What's going on, Bleak? Coco, what is going on, my man? Welcome to the Newbieverse. Tim, what is going on? Mr. Comic Dude, who will be there in Kingston on Saturday. And big shout outs to him because he didn't put it all together, but like he actually arranged the shops, right? And like the kind of the game plan. Like we kind of said, hey, we're going here, here, here. He kind of laid it out for us. So I want to thank him for doing all that. Yeah, man, it's going to be exciting. Wesley, hope Newbie sticks around longer this time. Yo, that's what my ex-girlfriend in high school used to say.
No, hold on. You deserve to get cut for talking about Little Mermaid last time. You forced us into that.
Come on, man. Deeper than comics, man. It's deeper than comics.
Get Hyper.
Yeah, Burr. I remember Hyper started this one. Hey, welcome, man. Welcome. Hyper's actually in the chat. I will be singing. I'll be signing library cards.
No.
The scalper. Oh man, how much for your underwear? Well, it depends. If it's a hot day, I might not even be wearing any. So
Oh,
Wait,
Jesus
your underwear is
Christ.
Depends?
no, shut the hell up, face. No, not like that.
Yeah.
Are we meeting at the library? Oh shit. That Kingston trip sounds awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's always good meeting people in the community. Like I haven't met Comic Dude, but Hyper has, Keys has. So like I'm excited to meet him. I'm obviously excited to meet my guys, Hyper and BC, part of the Newbeavers family. So yeah.
Number two.
Yeah. Let's get the show going. Again, this is uncut. So if anybody has anything they want to say in the chat, we're gonna try our best to get to it. I don't know who wants to start with anything. Just throw up a topic. BC, Face. I'll give it to you guys. But yeah, let's start it off.
Okay, yo. Hawkeye.
Yo, okay. I'm gonna be honest. You know what? This is a good starting point. One, okay, outside of the 10 people on this planet who are Hawkeye fans, go, fuck everybody else. No, don't come and tell me, oh my God, yeah, I've been on Hawkeye, Here's why. Because now all of a sudden, now that we get the trailer, even though we knew the trailer was coming, we knew this thing was happening, now all of a sudden everybody's a Hawkeye fan, everybody's collecting Hawkeye. I go to a shop or I go online, everything Hawkeye is fucking ridiculous. And I get it. That's just our community. That's what happens. But my God, the amount of people specking on some books that have absolutely nothing to do with Hawkeye is just ridiculous. Yeah. Secondly, I'm going to be honest with you guys.
I want to touch base on that after the whole specking thing.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of the trailer. But here's the thing. Hold on.
No Christmas spirit.
Unpopular opinion. One, if anybody who knows me knows I love my birthday and I love Christmas. I don't like those things ruined. Don't give me a present early. I don't like it.
Sure.
But when it's September and you're already talking about Christmas, that is a no-no. That is a big no-no. I don't want to hear about Christmas in September.
I mean, they just dropped a trailer, though.
I know. But, like, I don't want to hear about it in September, okay?
Music.
Well, see, but the thing is, like, okay, so we were actually just getting into this a little bit backstage.
Yeah, like, I don't.
It's not a movie, though. So you
no, and I get that, And
because if it were a movie, you could and we're going to drop around Christmas, you could expect, a trailer for it or whatever, maybe like next month or whatever, and that would be a little more appropriate. But because they're starting it around Thanksgiving, with it being a series and running it through Christmas, they got to drop the trailer a little sooner.
Yeah. I think Newbie gets offended because he's still in his fucking flip-flops in September.
Right. So, that's what it is.
That could be it too. Tim, we'll get to this. I will address it because actually myself and Hyper actually had some issues with that, but we'll address that after. Yeah, that's the thing with Christmas. Like that's the first thing that I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Two, they kind of put Hawkeye in these situations where there's like 30 guys in like a room and he's tied up and it's like, all right, this is an easy kill. Like this guy doesn't have superpowers, like there's just a lot of things that I'm like, oh geez. Haley Steinfeld, that's her name. Yeah. Okay. She looks unreal. She looks really good in the trailer. Going back to the part about the whole trailer that I didn't like I don't know. I think that they showed a lot, to be honest with you, which is the opposite of what I said with like Shang-Chi and Eternals and stuff like that. But again, I mean, we're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be, doing spec on it. I'm going to be doing, connecting the dots to the next thing and looking back and this and that. I'll say the best part about the trailer was Echo.
Oh, 100%.
The 0.0006 seconds of echo that we got, if that is echo, which I'm assuming that is.
It is, dude.
It is echo.
That was the best part. And BC, we were actually talking in our chat where that book has skyrocketed in the last like 3-4 weeks, but then all of a sudden yesterday, it is now in a 9.8, almost a $700 to $800 book.
Oh, dude, it's wild. I saw the prices on eBay just explode, but there's a lot of books that people are sleeping on. I
didn't even buy, like, I was looking at that book, like, maybe a month ago when it was like $250, $280 Canadian for a 9.8. And even then I was like, ooh, that's way too much.
Yeah.
So that right now at almost $700 Canadian, No, I'm out.
No, it's a pass for me for sure. But I mean, there's other books of Echo that are out there that people could grab, right? So like if you want, like that whole Daredevil run, because the artist David Mack actually is the one that posted on his IG showing, hey, look, Echo, and his covers are absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you guys have ever seen his stuff, but that entire Daredevil Volume 2, with all his covers, are just incredible. But I mean, guys, there's other books out there. Like I said, there's Daredevil 53 from that run. It's actually her origin. It's still like a $4 book. You'll find that in dollar bins. Like go now. Yeah, I get it. There's a whole spec show. I get it. No, we're shooting the shit. The beer's kicking in. Relax.
Yeah, fuck, man. No, damn.
Now, there's definitely other Echo keys out there that are, a lot more affordable than the first appearance and the first cover.
But listen, but hold on. Going back to what Just Cruz said, though, Face, that book that he's actually talking about, the importance to that one is, and I don't want to sound like a broken record here, you have to open the book and read it. You'll know that storyline is when what's his name kills her like family and stuff, and that's what people are saying is going to be the story. So that's also another key on why that book is, in my opinion, and I guess BC's opinion, important. And people are really sleeping on it.
But dude, just to shy away a little bit from Echo before I end up giving more spec talk, but the actual trailer itself, because I get what you mean by you feel like they gave out maybe too much info.
Yeah.
But for me, the key here is that it seems it's taking place in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm expecting a shit ton of Easter eggs in this series, man. And I think that's what people are going to be looking out for, right? Maybe we'll get some
just before Spider-Man. Right?
Yeah,
it's going to be just before Spider-Man, after Eternals, so we've got Venom coming out in 2 weeks, then Eternals in 6 weeks, right? Then Hawkeye, then Spider-Man. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's in New York City. Yeah.
Dude, Wilson Fisk is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Daredevil, little fucking Easter eggs, maybe Punisher. Who knows, dude? You know what I mean? There's tons of possibilities.
Well, for Wilson Fisk, there's been a lot of stuff going on today, I guess, with once they dropped the trailer, Vincent D'Onofrio posted a post about a dog or something a couple minutes afterwards or something like that. And people started making tweets about him showing up in the show. And I guess he started liking the tweets that were mentioning him showing up in the show. Kind of, maybe they were saying he found a loophole in those non-disclosures and everything like that. So, who knows?
That book is already pricey as hell anyway.
Oh, so, yeah, for sure.
Like if you haven't bought ASM 50 already, I mean, you're wasting time because, people can say, hey, he's coming, but you're talking about one of the most iconic covers, not just in Spider-Man, but you're talking about one of the most iconic covers in all of comics right there. And it's a fucking pricey book.
Why are you kicking me in the dick, bro? I know I need it. Stop.
Oh, you can have it. You're just gonna have to pay a nice amount for it.
Yeah.
Just quickly, and I say quickly, but I mean, who knows where this conversation is gonna go? But Tim, we said, let's let the chat kind of dictate some stuff. Let's let them get some questions. Tim had a question to ask, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but let me just break it down real quick. So Tim asked, so dirty flippers, what is all that shit about? Well, Tim, here's what it is. There is a gentleman out there. And I think his name is.
You know what? Don't even bother putting it out there. Don't even bother.
There's a guy. I don't know because he started stuff on mine. I blocked him right away. I don't have time for negative stuff. Like if you want to hang out with Newbie in the Newbieverse, it's all positive vibes. Let's have a good time, right? I've never had to ttell somebody, go fuck off or this or that because they didn't have the same color. They didn't like the same color as me, right? And that's how I kind of always talk about comics and I always talk comics with spec and all that. In the same way that at the end of a season, a sports season, you're always like, man, what if this character goes here or character? What if this player goes here, right? Unfortunately, there is just a negative person in the community going around saying to people who do spec or talk about books and he's calling them dirty flippers and things like that. It's unfortunate. A lot of people in the community have just been blocking him. like me. But that's kind of where we're just leaving it. So
I find it hilarious. I'm not gonna.
yeah, I mean it's funny, but like I just had no time for it. I was like, no, I'm just dude, because I don't want any drama, man. And like it's not because
well, we
I can't handle it. It's just like I don't do comics. Like comics is my hobby. This is like my safe zone and fun times, right? Like so I don't need that stuff. And there's a lot going on in the world outside that that's the last thing I need. So it is what it is.
But yo, some of his comments were wild. So I don't want to shed too much light on him, but it's just
we actually mentioned it, yesterday. We kind of talked about it a little bit, and it's just the fact is he's just a troll out there. I like the comments that he's making don't even make sense. His arguments don't add up. He's sitting there, he wants to call people dirty flippers and everything, but then he's promoting another person who does a lot of flipping themselves and everything like that. Like, no, I'm not, without even getting into anything about who's promoting or any personal feelings on that. That person also does in fact flip comics. So I mean, if you're gonna be a troll, at least make sense.
Yeah. Big shout outs to Michelle, Moonlight, Joffrey, who just came in, Rob 123 Ready Comics, 1/3 of the Pressable Defects, Mr. Guy Forge is in the house, so kudos to all you guys. Yeah. To be honest, I mean, I've always said it when I do my spec shows, which reminds me, because the internet cut out on Sunday, I do apologize that I did not get to do spec of the week. I was under the impression that my internet company and eBay just knew about it, so they wanted to squash it, kind of thing, and that's the excuse I'm going with. But
we actually put up 2 books.
Oh, did it? Shut up, man.
We spoke about 2 books.
Yeah, we did.
You don't even go back to watch us, bro?
No, man.
Right?
Dude, I was so pissed. I was so pissed that it cut out. But no, what I was going to say was,
live chat was on fire, by the way, because
right, it continued after the show.
You had control of that shit, right? So you dipped out, and then myself and Face are like, all right, so we're gonna hold this shit down until Newbie comes back. Newbie doesn't come back. We sign out. The stream is still going. You just see black screen. The chat was going off.
Yeah, I apologize. So this Sunday, for Newbie Spec of the Week, don't worry, I'll give you guys an extra book. I am truly sad. Like I had pumped it up saying, Newbie Spec of the Week is back. I was pumped for it. BC, because I was like so bummed that the internet went down. I was gonna unbox something, and I was gonna show everybody the prizes for the 3,000 subscriber giveaway, all this shit, and then my internet cut out, so I feel bad. But just going back to the comment of like, not necessarily the dirty flipper, but like if there are people out there who, accuse others of pushing a book and this and talking about a book. And, I know Pressable Defects because I've had conversations with Matt, I've had conversations with Jay and other people who do spec, Ultra Melt. Like, there's just a lot of people. I've always put that disclaimer like, hey, if I'm specking on something and you like it, buy it. But don't, you hear a lot of people say, hey, do your own research, buy what you like, this, that, yada, yada. Don't just go to spec shows and just buy every book. You know what I mean? Like, that's all. That's all I'm saying. So
that could be expensive.
Yeah, that could be very expensive. So, it is what it is. But unfortunately, Tim, to answer your question, yeah, we had like a rotten apple, and yours truly, I just don't deal with that stuff. It's positive vibes only. So if it's negative, I just block people from leaving comments and this and that. That's just kind of how I am. So it is what it is. Yeah. All right, next topic, because nobody in the chat was going. And hopefully this doesn't come off offensive, but the Asian market. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's been 10 days now since Shang-Chi came out, so I'm assuming everybody has seen it. That movie is a great success. It's crazy that in 2021 we still have to say, like, oh man, that was great for the Asian market. So now the Asian characters, like, I'm an immigrant myself, so like for me, I treat everybody the same, gender, whatever, race, whatever. But now that movie was a success, I mean, we can definitely see these Asian characters just take off. And what I mean is, Agents of Atlas, You know, who else? You know, like Arrow, Wave, like all those. They're in that, but like, man, they've got a market now, especially with the martial arts, Iron Fist, even like all this. Like, I'm expecting them to go heavy because even from a marketing standpoint and revenue, they could really capitalize on a lot of things. However, Sunfire too. Yes.
Yeah, Shiro, baby.
Yeah, actually, dude, I have that book in a 6.0. I didn't know I had it in a 6.0.
Immediately, the ones I do hope to see, Amadeus Cho. It's a given.
Yeah,
right? Penny Parker, we already got her in the cartoon from Sony, but we'll see from there. Silk, Jubilee, Luna Snow, Sunfire, Jolt. We could keep going. But yeah, dude, I think the doors are open, man. New Agents of Atlas, it's a given. I feel like it's a given. Now,
well, look at. So Just Cruise, if you're still in here, you know this automatically because we were both looking for it. But the week of Shang-Chi, Agents of Atlas in a 9.0 or a 9.8, sorry, not 9.0, 9.8 was selling for $225 Canadian all day long. Right after the movie, the day of, and the next day, it rose to $260 Canadian. Now, a 9.8, the cheapest you can find, is $374.
Fuck.
You know this because I checked. I was looking for it. So in a 9.8, that is the cheapest right now going.
You know, the problem with all historically with like, you know, these types of movies, and it's, you know, it's not just like that the Asian market or, you know, it's any type of movie that has any type of cultural theme or anything like that. They always have a problem, you know, breaking into other markets, and I think it's usually because, you know, like it tends to be like a lack of understanding. You know, like a lot of people, you know, in the U.S. aren't as ready to go and see an Asian themed movie, you know, if it doesn't have that attachment to the MCU, because, you know, they might not understand it. Like, you look at some of the articles that were coming out, there was people that went to see Shang-Chi that were looking at some of the mystical creatures that they had in that and everything.
It looked like Pokemon.
Fucking Pokemon. Yeah, they thought they were Pokemon, bro.
I thought it was Ninetales, man, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, stop!
I was waiting for I was waiting for Ash Ketchum or Misty to come out.
Yeah, that's like that's a mythological Japanese creature, and you know, and that's a lot of problem breaking into the different markets. It's just, you know, it's a lack of understanding. But the nice thing is, with the attachment to the MCU, people are going to see it anyway. You know, yeah, they might be mistaken a mythological Japanese creature as a fucking Pokemon, but at least they're going to watch in the movies.
Yeah. So what do you think? Just to get the Empire's comment here, Agents of Atlas, movie or Disney show?
Look, I would say more of a supporting, like they'll be part of, let's say, a movie, but I don't think they're gonna get their own solo thing. That's my honest opinion. I feel like it's still too fresh, man, to give them their own thing. Like, look, Miss Marvel's got like her own TV show, and we've got quite a few years of Miss Marvel, right? We've got like at least 10 years worth.
Probably.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat are saying show too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, nothing against that. I just don't see them, and not that they couldn't, but like, you know, a whole Asian group, I think that'd be kind of tough to pull off. Like nobody, you know, nobody's. I don't know. I think it'd just be tough.
But Nubi, just to touch base on what Face was saying, you know how he was saying, you know, some fans in the States and whatnot, maybe not being able to embrace. Is that what you were saying, Face?
Yeah, basically.
Kind of like we were saying about Sunfire. Dude, I could see a character like Sunfire coming in when the X-Men drop in, right? So kind of like a supporting cast, you know, ease it in, and then. But I really think the entire market in Asia and dude, like they can go full throttle with this. Shang-Chi brought in numbers that, like, even in a pandemic, dude, they proved the point. So,
but you know, it didn't even release in China.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's some things that can't be released in China. So like
I guess there's some controversy with
like there's stuff with like the devil and stuff. So like I guess I don't know if it's law or whatever the case may be. But I guess in Chinese television, I can't think of the word, but anything related to the devil is not shown. So like Loki, for example, I don't know if they just didn't allow the show or just, in that scene where they go to the window, they can't show that. That's why there was like this big, from my understanding, from what I've read, like, again, it's just what I'm reading. So take it for what it is. Right. They can't show certain things. Yeah. So like, that's why. And I remember having this conversation. I can't remember with who, but somebody had said, they're like, so that's kind of why I don't think Mephisto would do that, because Mephisto is essentially like the devil, right? Mm-hmm. So how could they do that and lose that market? If you don't know anything about economics, like China is huge. So, anything, look at the NBA, look at how much money they've lost just from their cutting ties from China. It's a lot, right? So just imagine on a scale for this, right? So the guy that plays Shang-Chi, he just got in shit for saying how his family left China, and China like fucking basically is like condemning him now. So, like China's like, maybe me saying this, like China's probably going to have a problem with newbie. I don't know.
You're banned in China for sure.
You know what I mean? But like they do play by different rules. It is scary over there. So yeah, it's just one of those. Me personally, I think it's going to be a show. I think that they will do it, but I just think it's going to be a show, man. I don't see Agents of Atlas kind of holding down a whole movie. I also don't want them to just, like when you go and ask somebody right now, hey man, like what do you think's the next team, right? Well, let's look at. We're already promised X-Men. We're already promised Fantastic Four. Now people are going off with
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, Midnight Suns,
Dark Avengers,
Sinister Six, Dark Avengers,
New Agents,
Guardians of the Galaxy, New Agents. We've already counted 9, right?
Yeah.
This is going to take a while to build. This is going to take a while to do. Young Avengers, Champions. Thank you, Empire. There's a lot. So by the time they actually get to Agents of Atlas with everything that they've already said,
but that's what I'm saying is right now, I kind of feel, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Maybe I'm stepping out of line. Chat might get mad at me, but I kind of feel like after Endgame, Spec went wild, bro. Just wild. Now everybody thinks everything's going to happen. Same thing once. Now we got Kang in the Loki show.
But that fucked everything up, though. Kang is what just fucked everything up, because now any character could come in, any universe. So, like, that's what I hate. And DC, I told you, because that show that I went to like 2 weeks ago, I think it seems like forever, maybe 3 weeks ago. Like, people are starting to sell something and be like, "Yo, man, but this is going to be a thing," because like.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, dude. Everyone needs to take a deep breath, man. Just chill, bro. Let things start to play out, because, like, now we saw, let's say, that Daredevil trailer. We're specking on what we see. Not Daredevil. Sorry, fucking Hawkeye. We're specking on the possibility of, let's say, Echo and stuff like that. Like, this makes total sense. But now when we're going to start talking about, we're going to get this team, this character, that character, like, dude, everyone's going bananas. You're going to burn out. You're going to spend all your money, and then you're going to be like, I hate this hobby. And I don't want people to do that, right? Because, like I said, I've said this in previous shows. I've seen a lot of people burn out. It's wild. So I'm all for being ahead of the curve. If you could, pick up a book at $2-3, but don't go crazy on everything you think might happen. You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, guys, we've got since the 30s worth comic books that you could be specking on. Like, you're gonna go wild, man. So
there was a guy at this show who was, it's so funny to me, because this guy was trying to sell me a book, Just Cruz was looking at this book. And the book was Avengers 47. Now, if you don't know what Avengers 47 is, it is not the first appearance of Black Knight. It is the first appearance of Dana Whitman, who becomes Black Knight, 100%. It's not the best cover. It's yellow. Magneto's on it, so cool. But it's not the best cover. And again, what do I always say? To me, it's always who the character becomes. So 48 is always going to take more precedence over 47. But you see, Just Cruz is looking at this book. And all I said, which I don't think, at the time I didn't think that I was a good wingman to Just Cruz, because what I had said was, I go to the guy and say, yeah, man, this book, this has only got till like November, because after November, this book is going to pop. This is what this shop dealer says to me. And as I said that, I go, oh shit, why did I say that? Because if Just Cruz is trying to buy it, I just fucked him up. This is what the dealer says.
I'm not coming anymore.
No, man, no. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, no. This is the first appearance of Dana Whitman. He's gonna be Black Knight. So yeah, it's gonna be big. He's gonna be in the Eternals, and once he shows up in the second trailer, it's gonna be game over. So I just looked at Just Cruz, and Just Cruz looks at me, and we're both like, who's gonna tell him? And Just Cruz goes, yeah, man, the trailer already came out like 3 weeks ago. And he was like shocked. And then all I said was, I was like, yeah, man, that's what I kind of meant by like, you only have until that movie, and then this book is gone. The moral of the story, though, is later on, again, any book I picked up or any book that we were looking at, oh man, yeah, that's this price because the multiverse, and like, this character is gonna come, and now with the multiverse, this character is gonna come. Holy fuck. With that logic, though, any book, that's the speech we're gonna get.
But that's the whole reason behind why Marvel did that. I mean, they don't give a shit about the comics itself, or selling them in the aftermarket.
Yeah,
but Marvel did that in order to open up storytelling on their end. Essentially, it enables them to do series like What If, or like right before the show, we saw that there was articles going around that they might be interested in a live action zombies project. That stuff comes from them opening up the multiverse. You wouldn't see that shit really without the multiverse, unless they wanted to do like an Elseworld story, and then it becomes pointless.
No, I totally get that. But my argument now is, any book you go and buy, this is probably the statement you're going to get told by any dealer. Yeah, but multiverse, so like this book is going to get hot. Like this book in a few years, or this book in a few months is going to be hot. Yo, I'm not buying it in a few months. I'm buying it right now. So I'm going to buy it at the current price. I'm not going to give you 8 months down the road or 2 years down the road price.
Oh, dude, I get that often. Like people are like, yeah, but future pricing. I'm like, man, fuck your future pricing.
Yeah,
man.
like
this is where we're at today. But two things I want to touch base on. Face, what were you just saying about the books?
The Marvel Zombies with the opening up the storytelling.
Okay, so
the multiverse.
So two things. Let me start with first, based off of your story with Just Cruz, newbie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to shop with you this weekend anymore. That's number one. Number two.
Yo, hey, that was a mistake, man. That was a mistake.
Right? Worst wingman ever.
right. So that's number one. But number two, okay, I get what we're saying about this multiverse shit, but guys, realistically speaking, I'm not willing to continue to pardon the MCU if they continue to make errors, though, because a lot of people are like, yeah, but with the multiverse, they could correct this and do that. And I'm like, nah, because the day comes that we get Secret Wars, that's it. Like, I'm willing to pardon until then, but after that, I don't want to fucking hear it anymore.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be differences in the MCU and what happens in the comics and everything. But I think one of the the best, I guess the best ways to emphasize is like, we're saying about that Marvel Zombies live action project. That's the perfect example, because like, honestly, okay, it's cool. It came out of the What If episode and everything. People liked it. It was fun to watch. Whether they do a show or like, whatever. Does anybody really think that it's actually going to attach to the MCU proper? Like, they're not really going to bring in fucking zombies into the Marvel universe, and just let them run wild. You know what I mean? So like, but dude, it's cool that we might get this offshoot, but it is MCU, but it's not really. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to be honest. Like, I'm 33, right? We're kind of similar in age, all of us. I feel like we just got rid of vampires altogether. I feel like we just got not rid of completely, but like the Walking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's at the pinnacle. It's not at the climax. It's not at the height, whatever word you want to use, like vampire, zombie, all that stuff. It's not there anymore, right?
Yeah, no, I'm over it. I
remember now, like with this, I'm like, wait, now we're going back? Like,
yeah, I mean, I hear what you guys are saying, but come and tell me that after you start seeing Midnight Suns and Ghost Rider and all that, Blade. We'll bring it. I mean, they're definitely
100%. I'm gonna like it, but like, I just feel like we haven't even had like a breath to like, go into something new. Like just like that. Like it's, I don't know. I'm not the biggest on that.
Yo, isn't Walking Dead on their final season or some shit?
I think so. Yeah.
Ever.
Of the main show, there's like 3 other shows now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to finish off on that subject though. Yeah, I'm kind of that's one of the things I hate, man. I see it all over I see it all over the place now. I go to any store or something and like I try to, I usually try to take 10-15% off. I'm not gonna lie. If a book's $300, I'm like, hey man, I got $260 cash, and then we kind of work from there. But it's just crazy how some shops and some people are future pricing books. And I'm like, all right, man, well, when this book is here in 9 months, you're selling it for what I just asked, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to try to get it lower, right? With that logic, everyone who has a Turok 1 should be a millionaire by now, right? With this future price. But like, yeah, I think this multiverse stuff, it's great because of the possibility of these new characters, but anything could be spec now. Crossovers, different universes, characters, this, that. Like, I look back on some of my spec when people were like, no, man, it can't happen. Case in point, Black Panther's daughter, who is in a different universe, who comes back to help Storm because her father died, and helps Storm because she's getting older, whatever, yada, yada. She joins the X-Men. And people were like, no, man, that can never happen. Fuck, with this logic, that's $1,000 book then, right? 9.8, that's $1,000 book.
I guess people were willing to pay it. They paid it for White Vision.
Like it's crazy. It's just, yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like Tim said, so he just mentioned there's a Mississauga show. If you're not familiar, the GTA, Greater Toronto area, Mississauga is one of the boroughs, I guess, areas. Not boroughs, yeah. I think in New York. Yeah, there's going to be a big show there. And I'm just looking forward to what happens there. I'm looking forward to what happens if I go to VonCon. I want to see what happens at Fan Expo, where what these dealers are going to say when you start not haggling, but like, when you start negotiating. I like negotiating better than haggling, because haggling kind of comes off wrong. Negotiating, it's just real. It's raw. It's right there. You want to sell a book, someone's got money, boom, let's negotiate. So I'm interested to see not excuses, but what things these people say, because I get they got to make money, but like, I mean, if I'm paying eBay prices or more, why did I, come all the way out here? Why did I pay for parking? Why did I pay for a hotel? Why did I pay for this? When I could just sit on my computer and just buy it on eBay, right?
Oh, this is your first convention, huh?
No. But I'm just saying, right? Like, why all that money then if this is all we're gonna do, right? Like, I could just meet people after the convention at fucking Boston Pizza or something, right? Like,
yeah, I mean that's conventions are great for the panels and everything like that, getting some of the freebies and shit, meeting the artists, the writers, the actors or whatever, but for comics prices, they're usually not the best.
You know what? You'd be surprised though. I got some good deals at the show that we went to 3 weeks ago, and I was.
You can find deals.
Yeah, you can find, especially there's not many like $1,000 books I'm looking for. Because I'm trying to find like certain spec or certain ones to finish runs. Like, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. If you got like 10 Hulk 181s at your thing and you're asking $5,000 and I come in at 4,600, I don't understand why people give you a dirty look and like just don't even deal with you. Like, well, is that the craziest thing that's happened to you? Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty reasonable.
I'm just, I don't know.
I kind of do want to talk GTA now.
No, we're not gonna talk GTA, man. This is not a video game fucking thing.
Yo, but you saw the photos I sent you, right? Because they're filming Transformers in Montreal.
Yes. Yeah,
someone sent photos from like up top, and you just see like a car chase. It literally looked like GTA 2, guys. I swear to God, I have the photos. Inbox me. I'll send that shit to you.
Yeah, I like how AOA just said this. I'm newbie. Profiling, limousine, riding, jet, riding, kiss, stealing, wheeling, and dealing, son of a gun. Oh, man, if I could remember that.
Yo, he got that down to the T, bro.
He did, too.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That's going to be on a T-shirt. Dude, that's going to be on a T-shirt.
Yo, you gotta
It's
take off your
definitely
blazer.
already on a t-shirt. It's definitely
Take off
already
your
on a
blazer, throw it on the floor, and give it an elbow drop right after you finish saying that, bro.
And I can pay 40. Listen, I can't. Listen. Okay, you know what? I got a question for you. Now that we're talking big prices, we're talking big books. I got a question to ask you guys. And the chat, please, as always, newbieverse.
Join
I
in.
always like comments. I always like people's feedback. But please, let's just get rid of one thing.
Sure.
Let's get rid of one thing. Why are we making every goddamn book $1,000 book right off the hop? Like, why is every book that just pops for a little set, like, why is it automatically jump into $1,000? I don't think I've ever seen that in the last like 6 to 8 months where it is right now, man. Like, it is unbelievable. And then you put in consideration, people are saying, oh, there's a crash, there's this. Meanwhile, I get it. Amazing Fantasy 15 just broke a record. That is not, to me, showing me that the industry is slowing down. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of books that just jump to $1,000, and it's like, why is this $1,000? Like, it's crazy.
Dude,
people just have more. There's just more money in comics and everything right now. There's a bigger fan base due to COVID. There's more people in comics right now than there has been in the past.
Very true.
There's still that extra stimulus money that's floating around at least a little bit for some people. And obviously that influenced the market a lot whenever that was going on. So, still kind of right there.
Dude, look, I feel like we've had this conversation backstage, so like we'll redo it somewhat here, but it's become a scalper's game, bro. In a sense of like, you remember, pre-COVID when we were allowed to go watch hockey games, basketball games, football games every week. Man, you Bell Center here in Montreal is sold out, dude. So it's hard to get tickets. And if you want tickets, well, you got to go to the scalpers, dude. Same shit's happening with comics, right? The scarcity is there. People are looking for books. FOMO kicks in. Everything's a spec now. So that's what happens, dude. And unfortunately, there's always one asshole upselling, one idiot paying the full price, bro.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
And I've been on both ends of that, by the way.
Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah. And I say that with love, guys. It is what it is.
So, Ozzy brings up a good point. And big shout outs to Ozzy. Guys, I'm going to be announcing the 3K sub giveaway pretty soon. Probably next week. And I said that last week, but I do mean next week. I've just been picking up a lot of overtime because winter's coming, and I don't want to work as much in the winter. Plus, all these shows are coming up. But Ozzy has actually donated something to the cause. He donated a slab for the 3K giveaway. So big shout outs to Ozzy. He's got his own YouTube stuff going. He's got a lot going on. He actually gifted me, guys, I can't believe it, but he gifted me, what is it? Venom 35 or Venom 200? The one with Dylan as Venom on the cover and things like that. He gifted me that.
Nice.
He was like, dude, it's a joke, but because like I was always whatever. So yeah, big shout outs to him, man. He sent that to me. He lives super close to me too. So I'm kind of disappointed we haven't met or we haven't gone to like go hunt for anything yet. But yeah, big shout outs to Ozzy. So if you guys don't know, make sure you guys go check out his YouTube and everything like that. Solid.
Yeah, yo. Ozzy's the shit.
Yeah, so hopefully I get to see him either at Fan Expo late October or sometime before then, because again, he's only like 30 minutes away from me. So I'm kind of like, man, I kind of feel like that, the chick at prom waiting to get asked to go to the,
what the?
And now you made it weird.
Fuck. Ozzy's about to move another extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, Ozzy's like, I
look, dude, 30 minutes from him, you're talking about like $1 million houses, man. But,
yo, hold on. You're on the topic of Venom. I just want to bring something up, guys. I don't know if anyone checked FOC. Did you see the fucking covers for Venom 1? What the fuck? Yeah. Who's allowing Momoko to draw these things, man?
I wasn't gonna say anything, man. I was not gonna say anything.
Okay. Marvel, who's not, I don't think he's watching right now, but he literally sent me a photo of his foot, like with a sock on, a black sock on sideways. He sends it to me like that and just draws Venom's face on it, dude. It fucking identical. Identical. Just it's so bad. How is she getting away with that? Sorry.
You can do whatever, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Venom 1 cover that she did. I mean, there is some of the stuff that she does that I am a fan of, but that's just not one of them.
How do you release this? Like, there's so many artists out there. That
I know, right? It was. I said the same thing whenever she did. There was a couple of like the Null covers. I was like, man, okay, she just probably shouldn't draw Null. But
I'm over it, yo. After that, like, no more. I just don't want to see Momoko. That's me, guys. Blast me all you want, but whatever. Fuck.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's covers that she's done that have been really great. You know, the Yoda, the Darth Maul, the Rey that she did for Star Wars were all great.
No, even the shit she's doing for Tech On, it's awesome.
The Champions cover, with the split profiles, Spider Gwen. You know, there's any number of them that she's done that have been good.
The Iron Man one.
Whenever she touches ASM, I cringe, man. There was one with the goose neck. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to shit on Momoko. It was just that one cover, but whatever.
I mean, I didn't mind the Iron Man, but it didn't even make me buy it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
There you go. Hidden gem, thank you.
Not something. Yeah, they all can't be winners, right? Uncanny swag is 100%.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I mean, that's the thing.
You know,
Mr. Sacco, bro.
No. I do like the Stegman for it and the Gleason. Damn, I think there was another one too. I can't remember what's the other one right offhand.
I know Delaro is gonna have a cover at regular price.
Sure,
yeah.
At regular price. Yeah, that's fucking key.
Yeah.
You said Gleason too, right? Did you say Gleason or no?
Yeah, I think
Gleason.
I think Gleason's doing one for it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Momoko, not like she's on her way out, but I think that there's just, like it's all the same stuff, man. And I don't want to say the same shit. I respect her. It is what it is, but
I mean, I love what she's doing over on like the Demon Days series, man.
Yeah, but that's some nice stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I get it. They can't all be winners, but that one should have been like, guys, we're not gonna release this one. Let's call up someone else.
Right.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting. I don't know. Well, yo, let's flip the gears here, man. Give me a topic. Let's get something going here. What's a topic, man? I'm trying to.
Since we're talking about comic book covers and everything like that, Stray Dogs is a series that just had a lot of different covers with all the dogs on it. Did you guys see that? I guess they're doing covers now for the Dynamite books. I'm sure Tim Sinkovitz is gonna love that. But Tony Flex looks like he's doing 3 covers over at Dynamite too. For I think Vampirella, Red Sonja, and Army of Darkness or something like that.
Great. So we're gonna have 3,000 covers.
You're right. You guys jumping on those Dynamite covers?
No, God, no.
Can we expect to see it in a pick of the week?
No, Jesus. Also, I've already Oh no, I haven't messaged you. I will message you my pick of the week on Thursday. I've already done it. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Face, I'll be honest with you, man. I feel like this is the collab that nobody asked for, bro. Like
right.
I'm not feeling it. It's very weird.
You know what? I've seen the covers for it. Like, okay, so I saw the Red Sonja one, and I was like, okay, all right, she's there with some dogs that could potentially be like wolves or something. I don't know. I guess it kind of fits the theme. The Army of Darkness one, I'm like, bro, why?
It's whack. I don't know. Like, it didn't. I guess the two don't go together. You know what I mean?
I know, right? It's kind of weird. But hey, yeah, whatever. I'm sure there's people that's gonna grab them.
Ozzy had a question when I said, "Hey, somebody give me some." He put NFT.
Oh fuck.
Oh, okay.
Ozzy is. I don't know if he's a fan of it or not yet, or is. I don't know. I've never really asked him. But I'm going to give you guys my opinion. Oh, man. I don't want to lose anybody,
You want me to go? I'll go.
No. Because, like, it is what it is, man. And, as I respect everyone's opinion as long as they respect mine. You don't have to like mine. I don't have to like yours. We can still be friends, right? I don't get how if I own this book,
Yeah.
I get the whole, okay, BC, you can own like this piece or whatever, and it's digital and you own a percentage, whatever. But like, I don't get that. I really don't. Like, why don't you just buy the book? And I get it for maybe bigger books. Okay, cool. But like, I just don't get it. I really don't.
Neither do I. So that's what I was dipping into. Is guys, look, everybody can do as they please, right? There's people that like throw in some serious money into Bitcoin. That's fine. You know what I mean? Hey, dude, you can literally put just a bit at a time. Bitcoin is a totally different ball game. But when we're talking collectible items, that's what I don't understand. Bitcoin, I get. Collectible items, I can't tie the two together. And look, it even ties into when I play video games. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe that's what it is. I have no idea. But when I purchase video games, I prefer to buy the physical copy of a game that I like, where I can keep it and collect it. Right? Comics, same shit. When I heard comics were going digital, I fucking the anxiety kicked in. I'm like, hell no. No one's gonna do this shit to me. I was losing my shit. I was pissed. And I think Marvel was testing it out, right? Face,
Yep.
you remember that?
Yeah, a little bit. I think they were kind of dabbling.
Yeah, because there were a few series that were going digital, and I was starting to hit the panic switch. I'm like, I'm calling all my friends that collect. I'm like, bro, what the fuck's going on? I hate this shit. But I don't understand the concept of collecting something digitally. Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you, like, when I have my friends over and they see my collection, or, you know, just anybody swings by the house, like, holy fuck, dude, like, shit, okay, you're hardcore, you collect, no. Like, dude, I enjoy it. I like reading the physical copy of my book. You know what I mean? So
it's kind of you know, because it has been around since what, maybe June, maybe May, somewhere around there. We were introduced to it, and a lot of people jumped on it 100%, right? There's a lot of them. And Ozzy here saying, you know, it's coming. Can't avoid the fact it's going to be big.
Oh, for sure, dude.
It's going to. Yeah, 100%. A lot of people are going to get into it. I just don't think I'm going to do it. Like,
I'm not a buyer. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not a buyer. Like, I can't afford Amazing Fantasy 15. Okay. I mean, I could, but like, I don't want to. Right? Like, there's a difference. And I'm not talking like a 9.6 by any means. People, please don't think I'm a millionaire. I'm not saying that. But like, when you look at 1.0 for 20, you know, like, that's not oh man, I'm not saying I'm rich by any means. Is what I'm trying to get at. But like
20 grand, you could sell your house or mortgage it or whatever.
Yeah, you know what I mean, or savings and stuff like that, right? So like, yeah, in a way you could buy it, but like, I like to think that, okay, that's a book I'm never going to own, and then someone's like, hey, but for $400 you could have like a percentage. Like, I think that's stupid, because with that $400 I could probably go buy a ton of books that I could spec on, flip, whatever, maybe make, you know, 2,000, 3,000 off of, you know, and just repeat the process. And then maybe one day, who knows, you can get a bigger book, right? But like, I don't get it.
I feel it's different, dude, because NFT, I mean, it's kind of like I said, Bitcoin, right? You're investing here. This is, I don't think people are really buying into NFTs because they want to show off a statue. You know what I mean? It's just, maybe that's them, you know, throwing money into something where they see potential resale value. Whereas, you know, when it comes to comics and stuff like that, someone like myself, dude, guys, I'll be honest with you, okay? Now I'm really going to be transparent with everyone. Prior to COVID, I owned 0 fucking slabs. I really didn't even care about slabs, sincerely, because I was somebody that just enjoys raw comics. I enjoy reading my book. I enjoy being able to open my book. It still to this day pains me. One of my favorite books is Secret Wars 8, dude, and I can't open it. I slabbed it, you know what I mean? But I will go get myself another one, that's for sure. But it's just,
you could find a low.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Low grade just to enjoy the read. But I sincerely grew up reading comics. It's a feeling that I can't explain it, right? It's just, when you love something, it is what it is. So for me, NFT or reading digitally, fuck NFT, just reading digitally, like, now it's become a different thing. Whereas reading comic books, like, I'm kind of scared now, because now I've fallen into the grading my comics thing, right? So with books hitting hitting such numbers as they're hitting now, right? You want to keep the best condition and whatnot, so you try to not open your books, which is why I tend to buy doubles. And if I don't buy doubles, well, I can assure you I'm reading it online, so it is what it is. But the feel, what made me love comics from when I was a kid, and just seeing the pages and just enjoying it physically, it's something I can't explain. So that's why I personally don't understand the NFT side of collecting statues. Like, I like displaying my statues. I got them here in the basement. You know what I mean? But
I think Bolo was trying to explain to me. Big shout out to Jack. He was trying to explain to me that they were trying to do that with like sports highlights and this that too. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, so I'm paying to have a highlight. Like, I could just go on YouTube and like search like Michael Jordan dunk or like David Beckham against Portugal kid. You know, like, I don't get why I have to buy it. And then people are like, no, man, but it's like, it's a digital thing that it's like one out of whatever. And I go, yeah, but I can just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with it. You know, we're talking about the NFTs, and to be perfectly honest, and I'm gonna go ahead and speak for both of you guys here, just by, you know, what you said already, and myself, even as far as what I'm gonna say. There's definitely a lack of understanding on this panel as far as how NFTs work and everything like that. And I think that's pretty common for most people right now. I know it has a lot to do with blockchain and how all that works. I haven't actually jumped into it that much yet to try and figure it out. But, you know, taking all that away from it, as far as the NFT thing goes, I think, honestly, I think for like you're saying, for sports highlights, even like something like sports cards or the you know, the statue collectibles that they're doing. Honestly, for me, personal opinion, those things are kind of silly to me, because
statues,
like, like the statue, like you would actually, I think, want a statue, or like the sports card, like, you know, you want the sports card, you flip it over, you can check out the stats on the back or whatever. Comics, I think, actually is a little bit of a different animal though, and I think there's actually a lot more room for it in comics, and I'll tell you why. Because it gives the opportunity for digital collectors, you know, to actually own a comic book that has some limited type of availability. You know, for these people that have more of an understanding of blockchain and everything like that, how it works, to get into the NFTs, they can still get their comics, get them digitally, still read it, and it is limited in some form or fashion. Now, granted, I don't understand how that works, you know, at this point or anything like that, but, you know, but it is a thing. So
hold on, Face. Like, so let's have this conversation, because you mentioned it. You're saying that, like, example, I don't know, like digital collectors have the opportunity to collect, let's say, an AF-15, right?
Right. Yep. Which they've actually already done.
You could go pick up a facsimile, bro.
What's that?
You can literally go and buy the reprints, like, for dirt.
You can. You absolutely you can. But there's a lot of collectors out there that do digital collections. You know, they don't want to you know, store thousands of comics or anything like that. They're perfectly content to have their collection online and
but the problem that I don't get is, like, okay, Face, you are the guy that just picked up, I don't know anything about it, right? So like you picked up a unit NFT of AF-15.
Right.
You come to the con, you come to a con and you're like, BC, newbie, woo, look at this. I got an NFT of it. I'm gonna look at you and be like, all right, cool, man. Like,
but right, somebody that's into NFTs may actually be, you know, think that shit's really cool or whatever.
Right, so, dude. I mean, hold on, just to defend what Face is saying as well, because guys, I'm not taking either side. I'm just really, you know, trying to get the understanding. But newbie, you see what you just said about, you know, somebody with an NFT comes to a con and like, yo, newbie, look, I got this NFT, and it throws you off, right? When I come home and my wife's there, I'm like, yo, look what I just got. She's like, what the fuck is that? Right? That's the reality. So realistically, dude, again, to each their own.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just not.
But that's the thing. I think with the comic books, there's a golden opportunity there to market them specifically to the digital collectors under, you know, the premise that they are still limited availability and they do acquire intrinsic value the way that regular comics do in the aftermarket, because there are digital collectors that, you know, they can swap these books between each other for the ones that are limited availability. But it also gives the other opportunity in saying, like, if they did it under like the Marvel Unlimited app, you could still go in there and purchase like a copy of AF-15, for instance, maybe that's not limited, so that you can read it, you know, or whatever digitally. You see what I'm saying? Like,
but okay, but my thing is this:
your problem is that you don't have anything that you can hold in your hands. So what do you really have?
Exactly.
Right. I get that.
You can come up to a con and be like, newbie, look, 1 out of 2,000, and I'd be like, cool, man.
Right. And I get what you're saying, but that's just, you know, part of the emerging market, and people just, you know, some people are going to be into it, some people aren't. It's always going to be a split market, always.
And anybody in the chat or anybody watching later on, or, you know, in the future, you know, another planet, universe, multiverse, who knows, right? I am not hating on it. If you do it, that is good for you. This is just something that newbie, one, doesn't fully understand, and two, I'm just not a fan of right now. My opinions could change down the road, 100%. But for right now, this is not something I'm like really interested in. So it is what it is.
Don't feel so bad, because I'm 9,000% guaranteed not gonna end up going that route. I know I won't, because of exactly those reasons. Is I prefer the physical copy. I prefer. Yeah. And I'm talking about just comics, statues, stuff like that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Funko also started doing the same thing. I went down that rabbit hole.
I did too, man. Funko people.
I still have a shit ton. Like,
man. We need to change the subject. No, we're not going down that hole. Listen. Sorry, go ahead, BC. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, it was just to say that, like, you know, to each their own, dude. I'm not knocking anybody to doing NFTs. I don't want people thinking that. But what I'm saying is, on my end, I do have a hard time willing to commit to that. It's just something that doesn't appeal to me. It really doesn't.
I feel like it's at the stage of like Blu-ray, right? Like people, it's like the next Blu-ray, and then people are still like, nah, man, it's still DVD, right? Like I feel like it's there. So maybe some people dab into the Blu-ray. You know, Blu-ray wasn't as successful as people might think if you look at the numbers and stuff like that. Yeah. Just an example. I'm not trying to say it's exactly, but you know, it is what it is. If it's for you, great. If you're buying, great.
Yeah.
It's just not for some people like me and BC. That's all. So we did have a question. So we've got a question saying, who do you think will be bigger in 2 to 5 years? So 2 to 5 years puts us in 2024 or 2023 to 2020. What? 6.
It's painful to watch you do math.
Yeah, dude, I'm so good at math. So that one was painful.
I'm on year 3, bro, and I'm okay. I'm good.
So we got Riri Williams, Camila Khan, Kate Bishop, America Chavez. All females. All females. Which, in your opinion,
I feel like this is a loaded question.
In 2 to 5 years is big?
Go ahead, Nui. We got to get your answer on this one first. I feel like this is a loaded question.
I feel like he's already got a favorite.
Just spit it out. Yeah, just spit it out. We know you want to say it.
All right. Well, let's look at what just happened with Hawkeye, right? Hawkeye trailer came out yesterday. All of a sudden, I've had 20 people be like, no, man, Hawkeye's my favorite character, and I've been collecting Hawkeye forever. Yeah? What books do you have? Oh, just one. Okay. Yeah, no. You're really a Hawkeye fan. Cool. Not hating on those people. I'm just trying to explain that, you know, when something is shown lately in the last year, I will say, in the last year, once something jumps, everybody goes crazy for it. Everybody. And they start collecting anything and everything about it. Where I'm going with this is Riri Williams is set to appear in her own show, Black Panther, and I think she signed on for a 3rd project. So 3 projects I think she signed on. So there it is. Those are the 3, right?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to get that first because Camila is coming. Or no, we get Kate Bishop first. So Kate Bishop's going to have her heyday right now into Christmas. I think it's going to be short-lived. And here's why. One, it's a show. And I get it. Young Avengers is coming. I totally get it. But it's a show. It is just before Spider-Man. where we're gonna get a fucking clusterfuck in a good way. We're gonna get a clusterfuck of characters. We're gonna get, you know, some explanation into the multiverse thing like that. So like I think the fact that it's coming a month before Spider-Man is bad. Kate Bishop's gonna have her heyday for sure. For this whole show, she's gonna be it. Camila, I mean, she is a little girl. The person who's playing her is from Mississauga. She's a young girl, so I don't know how that's gonna, you know, resonate with other people. I think it's Riri, or I think it's America Chavez, depending on what she does, if she comes in Doctor Strange 2 and how they do her. I really do. But Riri Williams is going to be in 3 projects. She's going to have her own thing too. Kate Bishop is under the wing of Hawkeye. Kamala Khan is going to be sharing the screen with other people. America Chavez is going to be sharing the scene with other people. It might sound like it's biased, but I do believe that it's Riri Williams. When you look at the books,
Totally biased.
when you look at the books too, man, when you look at the books too, you know, the 1 in 25s, issue 1, issue 3, the Ironheart thing, you look at those prices, the numbers don't lie, you know, the projects don't lie. And I get it. Kamala Khan, Kamala,
Yeah, Kamala.
whatever, Kamala. I say Kamala, I apologize. Kate Bishop and America Chavez, they're going to be the future. They're going to be around for a while, but I just do think that Riri Williams is going to have more of a spotlight on her because she's also going to be filling in for Tony Stark. Tony Stark is going to be in the AI form, so there's a lot going on there that she's going to have a prominent role in with big-time characters. So that's just my answer.
Well, and I understand where your answer is coming from. So here's the thing: it all depends, because it's gonna come down to a lot on the character portrayals and how they're accepted, you know, by the fans as to which ones that they lean into heavier. You know, yeah, we are getting the 3 projects with Riri, but you know, Newbie obviously has a little bit of, you know, some biased glasses on. He's mentioning Riri and everything, and he's giving the examples. But now let me go ahead and play devil's advocate here. You mentioned Riri, but she is appearing with other people. Black Panther 2 will not be her solo thing. Now she does have her own show, right?
She has her own show, her separate show.
But
so does Kamala Khan.
No, it's all together. It's the Marvels.
She's in the Marvels in the movies, but she's got her own series coming too.
Yeah,
she's already slated for her own series, 100%.
Face, I think I know where you're going with this, and I agree, dude. I think Miss
Well,
Marvel.
see, the thing is, because she's like, yeah, she's, you know, got the leadership of the champions and everything. So it'll be one of those 2, though, for sure.
Yeah, dude. Look, I agree with both of you. I think it's gonna be one of those 2.
No, you can't agree. No, you can't agree. You have to.
It'll be one of those 2, that's for sure. But if I have to look at it, Face, the only thing that scares the shit out of me, it really depends what they're gonna do with the Marvels movie, because the fact that she's tied to Brie Larson scares the fuck out of me.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And you know, Kate Bishop, you know, she's got an important role. She's been a leader of the Young Avengers team and everything like that. So, you know, she does kind of have that where she's coming out under the wing of Hawkeye and everything, but she's still going to be important. I just don't think she'll be as much of a focus as Kamala or Riri.
I think what's going to end up happening in this show is, you know, people are going to fall in love with her 100%. You know, Haley Steinfeld, great. I enjoyed her in Transformers. You know, she's pretty, whatever. I think people are going to get over it really quick. The show is like, what, 6 episodes? I think what people are going to start focusing on is her connecting, because it seems like she's going to be taught under Hawkeye. Hawkeye gets captured. She becomes the hero, right? That's what it looks like anyway. She becomes the hero, and then we're going to start trying to connect, okay, where is the next Easter egg for the next character in Young Avengers, right? And I feel like people are already going that route, because I've been seeing it for the past 2 days where people are like, oh man, fucking Young Avengers, and da-da-da. That book has seen—
They've already got most of them, so.
Yeah, an interesting jump there. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting, man. So I totally get it, but I just think like Kate Bishop is doing more for like the team that she's going to be a part of. and that's why my pick was Riri, because Riri's just like her own thing, and like with the storylines that they could do, I'm 100% sure they're gonna stick to that Ironheart storyline with the 10 rings and her father and stuff like that. I think it's the easiest thing that they could do. I think it's going to be a success. Again, big shoes, Tony Stark being involved. I think they're going to put more eggs in that basket. That's all. Also, big shout outs to Azor's Tiger. I seen him in the chat. What's going on, man?
Yeah,
Tiger
man.
Tuesdays today with Geek Driven. Great stuff going on, man. You guys were going while I was at work, so I put a thumbs up, but I do have to go watch the rewind. So you guys know, Tiger Tuesdays on Azor's. I was going to say Azor's Tiger. Azor's channel, all right? So make sure you guys go check it out.
Can I give away a spec book or no?
Hey, you already did, man. You already did. I'm sick of hearing about Riri.
But yo, so let's just we'll toss one to the chat. It's nothing big, but what I was telling a few people to pick up as well is now with Miss Marvel going to team up with Captain Marvel within the movie The Marvels. There's the first team up appearance. I believe it's Marvel Team Up issue 4. I think it's the 2019 run. I don't remember the year, but you get Miss Marvel with Carol Danvers. So
I don't think that's 24. Did you say 2014?
2019.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's. I think it's 2019, 2018 or 2019. I can't remember, but yeah, that is the book.
Yeah, there's it's like an arc. It's like 3 issues or some shit.
What? That's a good thing to bring up. What the hell is going on with team ups now? Like, X character joins. For example, X character joins Avengers. X character joins Fantastic Four. X character first meet up with this. Like, we're putting these, and I expect on some of these. So like, I'm not hating on it, but like, this goes again to what I was saying with like some of these books are reaching like $800 to $1,000, and it's like, oh, okay, so this person joined this team.
Well, but you know what? It's actually nothing new though. Historically in comics, it's always been a thing. People just kind of got away from it a while after like the collapse of the '90s. You know, putting spec onto the more minor keys wasn't as much of a thing. You know, with first meetings and team ups and everything like that. They're starting to come back more and more as people are forced to go to, you know, second and third choice comics and everything like that. So yeah, it's becoming more prevalent. A lot of those books are going for a lot higher than they probably realistically should at this point, though. And that just becomes a case of, you know, this project's hot right now, so this is the one that people are focusing on, and you know. But yeah, historically, people have always spec'd on origins, first team ups, and everything. You know, you go back and look at like Overstreet and everything like that. You know, it lists these things as keys. So it was there. It's just kind of got away from a while.
Yeah, but like now it's like becoming big, man. Like, oh, you know, and I've even talked about it. I remember talking about when She-Hulk joins Fantastic Four and when she joins Avengers. Like, and not to say those books got a spike because of me, no, but like I do know people were buying it, and you know, when a handful of people start doing it, people start noticing, and then they raise the price. But like some of these books in very high condition too are reaching like ridiculous prices, and it's like, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the books that are positioned in line in front of them as far as desirability, and you know that's the thing. They're starting to get priced out. So
yeah, dude, for sure. But just guys, sorry, I just want to touch base on Just Cruise. Yes, that's their first meeting, but I think the team up, like where they actually go into an arc versus the Kree or whatnot, it was I think it was the team up issue I was talking about. So I'm just putting it out there.
I think I spec'd on that book on Keep It Thorough when me and Pressable Defects did our thing. Yeah. I think we talked about that book. Yeah. At the time, it was like $12 Canadian, shipped and imported. So
yeah, look at the prices on them now.
Yeah, I have no idea what they go for now. So
probably higher.
Damn, I should have probably picked up a few copies then. Jesus.
I mean, people are into these books.
Yeah. Ozzy's right. MCU is building many teams right now. You can see it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, man. Young Avengers, Thunderbolts. We were talking about all this earlier.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. You know what? I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it because I understand what they're trying to do. Remember how even you said not too long ago in one of our shows where you were like, "Hey, you know, there's so much happening within the MCU. Before we would get like 2 or 3 movies a year. Now we're getting, episodes. We're getting like 6 movies a year and blah blah blah." Dude, they have to. You know what I mean? I kind of understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Listen,
What worries me is when the big events come together. How many characters are we going to fit into this?
I've said this privately, and I think I've said it once on a show. I can't remember what show. I think we had a guest or something, or I was on a show. But let me say this, and then you guys can say whatever. If you guys just want to exit and never talk to me again, that's fine. I totally get it. It's just a thought. It's just semi-opinion. I don't know. But here it is. Sometimes people get confused when you start talking about a book and you say, hey, man, that's probably going to be something in like 2 years. Okay. Sometimes people get a little confused on what that actually means, because when we usually say 2 years, that usually means the next movie. What do I mean? Iron Man 1 came out in 2007. The second one didn't come out in 2008. It came out like 2 years later. Just like all these movies, they don't necessarily come out the next year. It usually is a year and a half to 2 years, somewhere around there, right? Before COVID, we had no shows, 0 shows. Unless somebody was already streaming these, we had 0 shows. We also only got like 3 to 4 movies, which people don't realize. And I've had this conversation. I'm not going to say argument, conversation. We only had like 3 to 4 movies a year and no shows. Now with COVID, and not to mention, I'm not trying to give some love to COVID here, but like, ever since this, now we have the shows. We've got more movies. And Marvel has come out and said, hey, we want to have a show like once a month. We want to have like 10 movies. We want to have like 15 movies going yearly. At what point are we going to get more fatigued, though? In the sense, because if there's so much of it, like the supply and demand, right? Like I just fear that it's going to be bad for the hobby. You know what I mean?
Look, I'm not gonna think too much about it, because look, I had this conversation with quite a few people, the average fans, the hardcore fans, and whatnot. But like, COVID was kind of a blessing in disguise when it came to fatigue. And I'll be honest with you, because a lot of people after Endgame were kind of like, Spider-Man came out and they're like, "Okay, it topped out." You know what I mean? Like, just because we're getting so much content, and this is the average fan. So like, I remember being at work with my colleagues and like, what movie's coming out now that you're going to watch? Like, nah. It's these like, girls and whatnot. Like, what the fuck? But it's really, that's when I hear that, I'm looking at the average person, and it's just like, that's what they're thinking, right? So I get it. The fatigue's definitely going to be there. If they're pumping out so much content, it's going to be maybe a little much for the average person. For the hardcore fans, though, dude, I'm loving every fucking second of it. And I'm not going to lie. I have something to look forward to on Wednesdays now with What If. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and be like slapping on What If. But I can tell you, my wife's going to wake up, she's going to make her coffee and just have a fucking normal day, right? So.
But at what, okay, so like and even Uncanny Swag said it too. He goes, if it gets confusing, the average fan will lose interest, right? And you just hit it on the nail, right? Like us, we're obviously going to watch it. Like I didn't like Captain Marvel, but I'm going to watch it. I don't like those characters, but I'm going to watch the Marvels and all that. I'm not the biggest Hawkeye fan, but yeah, I'm going to watch it, right? But where it gets a little messed up is like, because people always talk about the crash, right? Like the 90s crash. Everything repeats itself. History repeats itself.
Oh, dude, for sure.
I think that this is the crash, in the sense that it's not going to be a crash that like, comics just go broke or anything, but so much saturation, supply and demand. It's kind of like what I just said about the vampires earlier in the show, where it's like, okay, we had it, it moves on, right? It's like fashion. It moves. Every 5 years it moves, right? And people do that. And I'm not saying that us are going to get bored of going to see them, because we're not. I'm going to go see everything that comes out, Iron Man or Marvel or whatever.
100%.
But where I think the crash is going to happen is that a lot of the average fans and the money is going to be taken out. So the value of some books aren't going to go up as high. And that's when you're going to notice it, I think, is when all these shows are going on and all these movies are going on. And we have like 15 movies in a year. I think that's where it's going to take a hit. I really do.
I mean, so they are ramping up the content output. Obviously, there's more movies and more series than there has been historically. But, you know, they have had the movies, you know, coming out, you know, 2 or 3 a year for, you know, a few years now. And while we haven't necessarily had the series that attach to the MCU, they have done, you know, there's been various series running, you know, since the MCU started with the Netflix shows, the Hulu shows, and everything like that. So they've had content, just not quite as much. I think the big difference is now that kind of everything's going to be loosely attached to the MCU that they do. The only thing is with opening up the, you know, the multiverse and everything like that, it seems like they're setting it up so that they can do more kind of like standalone or self-contained projects too down the road that maybe people won't have to necessarily invest in. Like okay, for instance, we were talking about the zombies earlier, and you guys said, you know, kind of getting the zombie fatigue. So, you know, the people that want to go see that, you know, and everything will go see it. And the people that don't want to, you know, obviously won't have to, and they still won't necessarily be missing anything for the MCU. So hopefully they'll do more stuff like that where it's not, you know, like, I guess essentially required reading.
Yeah.
But
I always like to remind people it took 10 years to get Thanos.
Yeah.
Dude, it eight and a half, if that's how you want to look at it. Because I had somebody call me out and like, actually it was like 8.5. And it's like 8.5, 10, it's all the same shit, man. When we round up, but like it took that long to get one villain, one face. And now we're getting to this point and people are like, dude, fucking Galactus and Kang and fucking Null and this and that. And it's like, you honestly think that in the next like 6 months, they're just going to roll out 2 of the badass characters and one of the biggest in the future in Null that could be something. You think they're going to roll out 3 badass characters and just be done with them in a year? No.
Yeah, that would seem to be kind of quick.
But just a few things, guys, that I want to touch base on. One, we live in a world where everybody's got fucking ADD. That's really what's going on. Literally, everybody has to have everything immediately. Like, they want, you know, like, this TV show, I need to watch all of it right now. And then it's like, relax, man, relax. But 2 comments that came up. Dan De La Torre said, Newbie, I don't see a crash, but more of a leveling off. I agree, dude.
Yeah.
I think this is where things are going to eventually stabilize once that does take place. But Empire Comics also says you have to remember we have MCU fans who don't buy or follow the comics, and we have MCU fans like us who read, follow, and collect comics. Now, that's very true because, dude, we have the average fans where, you know, I've got my friends. When I go with my boys, dude, I go with people who are not as hardcore as myself, right? So when we leave the theater and we have the discussions, let's say out of the group of 6, well, there's 3 of us that are like readers, and then the other 3 are like, huh? What'd you say? What? Oh, that guy's coming? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So I totally understand that, and I do get the fatigue, dude. I get it 100%. Will it hurt the hobby? Now, like I told you, there's a lot of, sorry?
I think it will. And that's what I mean by the crash. I mean,
for sure.
Of it, people are going to take their money out of comics, like the people who aren't in it for, say, the right reasons. But then again, what is the right reason? If you're a flipper, investor, if you're a reader, do whatever you want. It's your money. You do your thing, right? I don't judge people based on them buying iPhones, right? I mean, that's your thing. But 100%. What I mean by it is, like, we value these books so much. So I value Giant Size X-Men and Hulk 181. Why? Because it's Wolverine, it's X-Men. Those are going to be huge. But if we're getting them super quick and this and that, well, it's just going to, you know, it's going to be on to the next thing. And we've seen it. That's what happens in this hobby. It's
no, dude, I agree with you.
Right? Kang was the it boy. Now all of a sudden it's Kate Bishop. Right? That's just how it works. Eternals is going to be November. Spider-Man is going to be December, January. Like, that's just how it works.
That's what I mean by the ADD, bro. We all, us collectors, this is what we've got, yo. But, you know, I was actually having this conversation with quite a few friends, family, when it comes to, like, comic book content, meaning, like, MCU stuff, Marvel movies, TV shows. You know, you go back in the 70s, the 80s, like, what was the thing? the thing was gangster movies, bro. It was those Godfather and all the way up until Bronx Tale. It's pretty much what took place, right? Those were the big movies, like the common thing for our generation. I feel like it's comics, right? Now, since COVID, dude, a lot of people hopped in. It's the reality, and I do understand what you're saying. I do fear that maybe once this does come to settle down, things go back to normal, and people get the fatigue of, you know what, it's too much shit to keep up with. I'm done. Well, then, yes, maybe the books will. I don't think they'll crash. Like I said, Dan, I agree 100%. I do think it stabilizes rather than crashes. However, the insanity that's taking place in between has been chaotic.
I think your blue chip books are always going to hold value, but I do think that these nothing books that just because Kate Bishop is on the cover and it's $500 today, I don't think that, you know, with everybody being on so much of it, I think people will just, like anything, man. If you have too much of something, look at Kevin Hart, look at Will Smith. Like, you have too much of something, it's good for them. Peach Momoko, whatever the case may be, supply and demand. We want it because it's like, oh shit, it's up and coming. But then when it's there and it's always there and it's in everything, then people are gonna be like, well, what's the other thing, right? Because as much as people want to do what the cool thing is, it's sometimes cooler to do what's not so cool anymore. Like, oh, you're still on that? Oh, I'm going to go this way, right? And I think that that's going to take money out of it because people are going to go into the next hobby or whatever, right? We never know where life is going to be. We never know what those materials that are going to be invented in 5 to 10 years are going to be hip or cool or whatever the case may be, right? So that's just kind of what I mean by crash. I don't necessarily mean crash like the 90s. I just mean like that's what I mean by crash, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you look at the collectibles, you know, industry as a whole, though, and there's really two things that have never gone anywhere, and there's really no reason to expect them to ever go anywhere, and that's sports cards and comic books. I mean, you can look back historically at all the Funko Pops and the fucking Pogs and, you know, the fidget spinners and all that bullshit.
Yo, I still have Pogs, bro.
right, and I mean, you know, there's people that have that nostalgia value and everything that's there and everything, but it doesn't necessarily hold value like, you know, comics, sports cards, action figures is another one that I forgot. You know, so you'll see, you know, dips and dives in all three of those hobbies, but
I think
they're not going anywhere.
I think toy cars are up there too, bro. Like if it's still in packages.
Probably. I've never really looked into that too much, but yeah, probably.
Yo, the guy who lives in front of my house, man, he's got a Camaro SS. The guy's got a collection and a half of cars. Yo, he sells that shit at good prices, like those fucking Hot Wheels cars from like the 60s.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. So there, you know, these are hobbies that have stood the test of time, and you know, there's dips, there's dives, there's crashes, but it always rebounds in the end.
No, for sure. And I agree with you, Face. Like the two things that I definitely see not crashing, obviously, sports cards and comics, dude. Like, again, just to say it again, Dan, it's stabilizing. It's not, I don't think it'll ever crash. I think the books, like Newbie said, that are just spiking out of nowhere for absolutely no reason, like fucking that ASM 55 Gleason or just like those random books. Those are the ones that I don't see holding any key issue, those big keys that actually matter, like those Fantastic Fours we've spoken about a million times, which I can name you about 400 issues literally that are just keys and whatnot. Like,
yeah, I think some people are missing what I'm trying to say, and I hope I can clarify it. And if not, like, we can continue having this conversation different times or personally.
Sure.
What I'm saying is when you understand the supply and demand, you understand what I'm trying to get at. So right now the demand is comics. So for example, Hawkeye just came out. You know what? Forget Hawkeye. Let's do Eternals because it's easier. Because then I can just say Eternals 1 and I know what I'm talking about. Eternals 1, right? There's others, but like let's stick with Eternals 1. So Eternals 1, the movie's coming out, everyone's going crazy. Okay, yeah. But what I'm saying is when we have 10 to 15 things going on, it's not going to be the same as when we had only 4 things going on. I remember, you know, the first movie would always be in February. And then the next movie didn't come out until like May 2-4. And you literally had to connect the dots from February to May And then even before February, the last movie you saw was usually in November, right? So like you always had that 2 to 3 months where you were literally connecting the dots. And it was, not to say it's not fun, but like when you have less of it, you want more. But then when you have more, you're like, it's like when you go to a buffet. You can put as much as you want on a plate. But I don't know about you guys, but I never eat how much I put on my plate. I'm always like, shit, I ate with my eyes, right? And it's not just comics. I'm not saying comics aren't going to be cool or the money's not going to be there, but like there's certain books that aren't going to just be $1,000 book. Like it's just not like perfect example. Like this, these right here, great books to have. Kang is the man. But why are these in high grade or this, going for crazy amounts of money? Well, because that's just what's going on right now. That's where we are as a community. But why? Well, we only have Kang just for a short period, and it's here.
There's a lot of good comments here that people are actually touching base on here. So, example, hold on. Fuck, I'm trying to scroll through it. But okay, our boy Hood Rat.
I'm trying to go up for them, so just hold on. Which one?
Yeah, dude, movies are driving the prices up, and it really is that, dude. You have movies, shows, and stuff like that, but they're revving up. But then after, like I said, the ADD kicks in, dude. People forget about it, and that's where you buy on the dip for sure. But if we have to continue to talk about what you were saying about the whole crash, again, I do see it, leveling out. But books where it's characters that are not so relevant, I agree with you. I do see a crash, 100%. There was also another comment I wanted to go over. Just Cruise. To be honest, the pandemic has brought me back into the hobby, dude. I shit you not. I could tell you about maybe 6 people, close friends of mine that I've grown up with and whatnot. They hopped into the hobby during the pandemic. They would listen to me talk about comics. They would hear me just, shooting the shit. And these are my boys, right? They'll come over for beer and we'll talk about other stuff. Has nothing to do with comics. But because they saw my passion and the possibility, the market, and when I would start to point them in the direction, like, I don't know, fucking Edge of Spider-Verse, like, hey, dude, the book was a $20 book, a $5 book. Now it's at 1,000. Well, guess what? Now it's at 2,000, 3,000. Like, when I would speak in that manner, yeah, dude, it got their interest as well, right? They saw.
Oh yeah, dude. You say you make, dude. I don't know how many times I've been like, oh, I found this book for $1 and I sold it for 200, and people are like, what?
Well, I said this. Okay, guys, for those of you who don't know, and again, this is newbie. I don't even know what this show's called anymore. Is it After Hours, After Dark, whatever it's called? But I'm going to be transparent with you guys, okay? So this is me getting naked for you.
Whoa.
Don't get too excited now.
Out of here real quick.
All right, I'm not
get too excited, face. But I work within property management, okay? And my boss is a huge finance guy. So when we discuss assets and whatnot, I speak to him about comics. He's a huge, huge Bitcoin guy. And he tells me, he's like, dude, the return on what you make on comics is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Well, dude, it's because it really is. All right. So it's like playing the stock market. It is what it is, dude. And that's why I think since the pandemic, it's going to continue to go strong because people see an opportunity here. As long as that wave does ride with TV shows, movies, and everything, it's the thing, right? So once that does start to die out, I think, it'll impact 100%. I'm going to say it one more time, Dan. Yes, 100% stabilizes, but the dip will come.
I think people are getting misled by the C word, crash, with what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying it's crashing. Like, there's a comment here. And guys, I love the conversation. I'm just Latin, so like I'm always going to be animated. That's just in our blood, right? We're fucking dramatic. But let's see.
Bro.
Steve said, like right here, right? And Steve, if you're yelling at me, just let me know so I can read it that way. Tell me when the market has ever crashed, though. Show me when a Hulk 181 crashed, not counting the past 2 years from the early 80s. It's averaged a 20% gain for 40 years. 100%. If we look at the numbers, yes, 100%. And I think I might have to change the wording on crash. But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to connect the whole thing of if we get more where they want to do. Steve's like, I'm not yelling. No, it's all good. Man.
I'm not yelling.
Yo, no, because this is what I love about this show, where it's like it's uncut, it's raw. Like we just want to have these conversations, right? And like these guys know, like the way I do my shows is like this has taken over as if I was about to say, I don't call them shows. Like when I tell, my girlfriend I'm doing something, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go have a drink with the guys, right? Because that's what it is. It's like if the chat and us were at the bar or at a barbecue, this is how we would be, right? So that's how I take it. But I totally agree with you with the Hulk 181. But what I'm saying is, comics aside, crash aside, let's not use the word crash, right? What I'm saying is, if we have too many shows going on and movies going on, right? Like all this stuff going on, I think that the popularity is not going to be there. So some money might be taken out and go to somewhere else, right? Like what's going to be the next thing in 5 to 8 years when Marvel's like, hey, we're going to do 10 movies, or hey, we're going to do a show every month, right? Even now it's good because we've had a show in March, then we had a show in April, then we had a show in July, and then now we have another show, right? So like it's still a little bit spread out. But what I'm trying to get at is perfect. Yes, Eric, that's what I mean. Oversaturation.
100%, dude.
Right? And I think that if we have too much of it, then people are going to just put their money elsewhere. So like BC was saying, not your Hulk 181s, not your Johnny Size X-Men, which will level off. Like eventually they'll just level off, right? That's history. That happens with anything. But like your books that don't really mean anything is just driven by like whatever. Like this book reached like $40.
But that's fucking wild. See,
it's just got Kang on the cover. That's it. This is not a $40 book, but
it's irrelevant. But you see,
so that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just that, right? And again, when we have too much of it, what happens? We just don't like it as much. That's just what happens, right?
Yeah. But Noob, that's what I was just saying, and we'll use what we spoke about today only. Okay, so we were talking about Echo, right? Yeah, exactly. Echo. Now this is, let's say, the spec, right? Because of the trailer with Hawkeye. So everyone gives a fuck right now, but then the ADD kicks in, right? Something's gonna drop, Eternals is gonna come out, and everyone forgot about Echo, right? So again, those are books that I don't see holding. Yeah, dude, Hoodrat, 100%. A book like that with Echo, like it'll most probably crash once no one starts to care anymore. You know what I mean? The hardcore fans are gonna probably be willing to pay that coin. But like I told one of my friends who started to collect it during the pandemic, and guys, it's the sad reality. Like, and I'm not trying to make us sound negative here one bit, but I have a friend who's like, yeah, but dude, I picked up that Silver Surfer Black #5, the one in whatever fucking ratio for $300, but it sells for $450. So I made $150 cash. I look at him and I'm like, find me a buyer. Post it. Let's see how long it takes for someone to buy that. Yeah. So you're taking $300 out of your pocket and you're sitting on that for a long time, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's you got to be careful on those things, man. And that's what I keep telling everybody is don't feel like you're making a buck on everything, because yes, you're talking about what you could potentially make at that moment. There's no guarantee you make that, dude.
Man, I was just saying that I think I talked to Ian about this, and I can't remember if we were backstage like with you guys or whatever. And I think we talked about it. I think it was like Hood Rat maybe or something else, but it was just recent. I remember talking, and I remember saying, like, people always expect to flip something really quick. But if you look at this year, let's go January to now, January to September, new comic book day. You actually look at a book that really moved. There's maybe one book that moved this year.
Yeah.
We're already in the 9th month of the year. We're going to be at the midpoint of the month. And we're talking about Star Wars High Republic #1 being the biggest book probably to come out in new comic book day. When you look at the sales, when you look at Flip, when you look, And I'm saying that because I bought 10 copies.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Hawaiian Punch because he told me about that book way long. Shout outs to Coco because he told me about that book way long. And I remember getting that book and 9 copies sold and they were going for like 40, 50 bucks. Like you look at other books, and no disrespect to any other book that came out this year, but when you actually sit down and look at New Comic Book Day and see, okay, like which ones came out and I actually made it. Mind you, there were some hot ones and there were some books that did, but like Star Wars High Republic #1, I think in my opinion was the big winner. Future State, Yara Flora 1, another one, right? Like there's 1 and 2, but when you really think about it, I mean, which one was a big mover? Not many, right?
I mean, it just depends. You start looking at some of the indie books and everything. There's a lot of those.
Oh, really... fuck yeah, dude! I actually, again, I said this on previously on with Face. I really think that indie throughout the pandemic went to a whole nother level. In fact, prior to the pandemic, and I would say it's because I was living a regular life like everybody else, where you had only so little time to read books, starting a family, got married, bought a house, shit happens, right? So I would collect, let's say, my 4 or 5 titles and call it a day. Whereas in the pandemic, I ended up reading so many series, and I'm like, holy fuck, what have I been missing out on? And dude, indie really stepped up. Like I think the
Stray Dogs was another one. So Empire, I apologize.
Yeah,
that is another one. Yeah,
for sure.
But what I'm trying to get at is, okay, for anybody
outside of the mainstays,
yeah, for anybody who's new, not even mainstream though, Face, but just the fact that like comics come out every Wednesday, 4 to 5 Wednesdays in a month on average. We are at the 9th month of the year. The year is almost done. And everybody in the chat is saying, yeah, no, you're actually right. Or like when we did talk about this, people were like, oh shit, yeah, when you think about it, there's only been like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Last year, I remember being like, I feel like there was way more last year. Even the year before that, I just feel like there was more.
Well, I mean, comics definitely took a hit with the whole COVID thing, you know, and the gap they had this year and everything. But, you know.
Well, Tinian's been on a fucking run, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Tinian's, but, you know, and that's one of the things is because there's been so many new characters that have come in through those runs and everything, you know.
But again, I do
it's harder to justify the staying power.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of books that I think maybe a lot of people are sleeping on, to be honest with you. Like that Daredevil run is great, dude, by Chip Zdarsky. Like, I'm just putting it out there, right? Like there's
there's books that down the road, you know.
Sorry?
There's books like you're saying that down the road we'll definitely see come back up in value.
Well, yeah, kind of like how now everyone's jumping on Daredevil because of Echo, right? That volume 2, like everyone's like, oh shit, I need to hop on that, right? But there's good story right now being told, let's say in Daredevil. I'm using that as only one example. There's many other ones. Not Nick Spencer's ASM, but just want to bring out one question with Tim. Yeah, exactly.
I was waiting. I just didn't want to cut anybody off.
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest with you. When I went to watch Shang-Chi, the movie was sold out, and it was on a Thursday night. This was the premiere. Sold out, but unfortunately under COVID measures, meaning there was social distancing within the theater. I do think once we go back to normal, we're gonna have to stop. Yeah, like people are like I can tell you here in Quebec, like there's a lot of people. And like they're antsy as fuck to go back to normal. I see people still kind of following rules, but not really following rules. Like we have terraces where we have, let's say, people set up with tables that they're supposed to be eating, but they're not fucking eating, dude. They're all gathering, having beers, chilling. Like people just want to get back to normal. So
Prince Edward Island. I had a coworker. Go to Prince Edward Island. He's like, dude, there's no COVID there. Like, no one's wearing a mask, no one's doing nothing. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, dude, I was wearing a mask in the grocery store and people are like staring at me like I'm the devil. And I'm like, oh.
Well, no, here we still do all of that.
Same here, man. Fuck. Here you can't even high five somebody without like a Karen just yelling at you.
Yo, I raised a kid in the pandemic. So my kid's 2 years old right now, and he literally naturally when he meets someone, so like let's say Newbie or Face, you guys come over one time. My kid's gonna props you. He's gonna say hi to you and props you because he doesn't like.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So Yeah, we went to the movie not together, but on the same day, right? That Thursday.
Yes, sir. Half an hour apart.
Yeah, half an hour apart. So I finished watching everything before. I went with Keys, our buddy Dylan, and his buddy Luke. And yeah, a theater holds what? And if anybody's ever worked in a theater, let me know. But I think what, maybe 100 people in a theater?
I would say more.
Say more? Oh, let's go 150.
You're going to shitty theaters, bro.
Just 150, okay? Let's say 150 people in a theater. I think there was maybe 30 people, 35 people. But that's sold out. That's due to COVID.
Oh, fuck, no. We killed it. We had way more people.
Yeah,
But
that's
okay.
pretty.
Well, we were talking about the conversation here a few minutes ago about like the potential for a crash or a significant dip or whatever. And now we're talking about the movies and everything. There's a fucking pandemic going on, and these movies are still selling out. So,
oh yeah,
there is a complete flip side to the thought of the crash, and it's like the simple fact that this conversation that we're having about it, it's not the first time this conversation has been had. I mean, you can believe for sure that Kevin Feige has had this conversation, with his people, and how do we avoid the fatigue or the crash or whatever. And what they're doing is smart. They've hooked us all back in by bringing in the nostalgia, giving us Captain America, Iron Man, and the Avengers and everything like that.
Why did you say Captain America first?
Because he was the first Avenger, obviously.
But what was the first movie?
I mean,
it was Iron Man.
Let's Blade.
No, don't give me Blade or Hulk. Get the hell out of here.
Obviously Iron Man was the first movie.
But
what they're doing right now, they're focusing, or it looks like they're starting to focus on these younger characters. We got to remember, when we were younger and everything, we identified with Peter Parker because he was closer to our age and everything. Marvel's smart. They're gonna try and draw in the fucking kids now. So now all the nostalgia people that are like, okay, yeah, I've spent all this money on comics, we're ready to get the fuck back out of it.
When are they gonna make that character that works? When are they gonna make that character that works 90 hours a week and doesn't have time for himself except
yeah, right,
2 YouTube shows a week and okay, so the internet cuts out. Like when are they doing that show? I'd be interested.
Newbie wants to be a superhero.
But face, you're onto something though, because literally my kid's 2 years old, wakes up, he wants to watch Lego Avengers. He sees Iron Man. He's like,
yeah, it's smart, man. It's smart.
My little nephew is obsessed with Iron Man. My sister told me that he's obsessed with Iron Man. Why? This touched my heart. He goes. He told my sister that he likes Iron Man because I like Iron Man.
Okay, no, but that's a perfect example. Now think about it. What's gonna happen when he sees your rabbit ass going nuts about fucking Riri, and she's closer to his age and more identifiable to him? He's gonna love her even more. And that's Marvel's smart, man. They're smart. They know what they're doing. And
I've been on the kids. I've been on the kids for. Okay, I got to clarify because I don't want anybody taking this and making it sick.
You're right.
Like in the comics, I have really been on the kids. Like when Old Man Logan came out, Laura Kinney, just all those kids. I've always been thinking, okay, they're probably going to go this route. It is what it is. So.
Because the younger characters are identifiable to
Miles, Khan, Riri, Sam Alexander, all these guys. I really do that. They have
But we need that. We need that. And
right.
I said it before, dude. Like, example, we'll take the last Venom run. We need Dylan. We need new shit. Like, you got to remember, these books have been around for fucking decades and decades and decades. Like, it's only normal. You need new content. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Everybody knows this. But when it comes to Spidey, Peter Parker, dude, I read these comics. I'm so tired of him being a bitch. I really know it's time for him to become an adult. Like, fuck this one more day bullshit.
Well, it's like watching The Simpsons, dude. It's like, how long is this kid gonna be? He's been in third grade for 32 years, goddamn.
No, but like,
yeah,
the whole I'm so hard on myself and I shouldn't have fucking done. No, like, shut the fuck up, become a father. Like, I don't know, like, do something.
That's kind of one of the things I liked about Into the Universe.
Yeah.
into the Spider-Verse, where he was old. Well, like at the beginning, right? Spoiler, he dies. But you know, like he was older and he was like tired, right? And he had like the beard and he had like some gray in his hair, but he kept saying like, "Oh man, I'm tired." And this, like, he was just, he was what I was expecting. Like, hey, what happens when like I grew up? Why isn't this kid growing up, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is what it is. Big shout outs to Vancouver Comic Junkie, by the way. He's joining us right now.
Vancouver Comic Junkie took care of me, bro. I love this guy right now. You have no idea.
Yeah, it was a sick AOK. I heard. I got to see what you got. So yeah, big time. Yeah, it's just going to be very interesting. You know, when you talk to certain people who own Miles, for example, Ultimate Fallout 4, you know, a lot of them went a little crazy. And I know because I talked to Mel V. Shout outs to Mel V and Drunken Chat and those guys over there. Mel said to his nephews, he goes, "Who is Spider?" I kind of want to do this with my nephews because I'm kind of interested to see. But Mel said he asked his nephews, "Hey, who's Spider-Man?" And his nephew said, "Miles Morales." They didn't know who Peter Parker was. Or at least I don't know if they knew, but he's like, no, they said Miles. All they could talk about was Miles, right? And that's kind of where the logic is with a lot of these characters. And I hope we never grow up in a world where people are like, "Hey, who's Iron Man?" or whatever. And people are like, "Riri." Like, I never want to be in that world, man. I hope it's long gone before people forget about Tony Stark, man. So
for sure. But what I was saying about Spidey is like, I know they did the One More Day storyline and fucking that shit never happened, but we need some new stuff, right? So we need Spider-Man to grow up and finally fucking put on his big boy pants and be like, "Okay, I'm a fucking adult now." Like, there's no excuses. Yeah. That's number one. The rest of the characters, Venom, all these characters that have been around for so long, like, it's refreshing. For me, I know a lot of people weren't on board with Dylan. I fucking love Dylan. I think this is a great opportunity to give us a new story, we need to start building the future, guys. Like, these characters have been around for God knows how many years. There's only so much you could say, and sometimes it gets redundant. So for me, just giving you an example, this entire ASM run, it was a filler. It was just not good.
You know what I think really kills me the most about the movies, I think, and everything. It's like whenever we're watching it, like with the Eternals, you know, we feel the need now to ask the question, where were the Eternals during, you know, the invasion of New York, or where were the Avengers?
November 5th.
Or where were the Avengers when everything was going down in Missouri with Star-Lord and everything like that? You know, how come, you know, these things didn't happen? And for 80 years, we've been willing to suspend our disbelief on shit like that in the fucking comics, and all of a sudden now we need answers to these dumbass questions. Like, who cares where the Eternals were? Just make a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really need it addressed where they were during the Battle of New York, you know? And I think Marvel is going to have to get away from that at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to tie all these properties together and still make them watchable.
Yep. AOA, you are absolutely correct, by the way. There was a lot of people that didn't even know who Iron Man was. I remember telling my buddy,
like,
"Hey, man, let's go watch Iron Man. You know, I'm a big fan. This is a buddy of mine for like 20 years. And he's like, "Who?" He's not a comic guy, so no hate. But like, he was like, I remember just him being like, "Who names their superpower Iron Man? What's next, Gold Man or Silver?" And I was like, "All right, man, thanks."
Yeah, he's got a legit argument.
Yeah, but we were like 13 years ago. I mean, we were 20 years old, right? So like, it's acceptable. But now, come on.
One more question I want to touch base on. Just Cruz.
Last question.
Just Cruz. It doesn't sound weird.
We talked about this already.
Yeah, it doesn't sound weird, dude. Definitely. I think it's something cool to own. Whether it has value or not, I think to me, it's gonna always have value. The free comic book day Spider-Man's, dude, the fact on the slab it says that because of COVID and blah blah blah. Like, I think it's part of a history. So it is cool to own just for historical purposes, bro.
I just don't think it's gonna be like a $2,000 book.
No.
It's just gonna be cool the same way people like to have, you know, newspaper clippings of and unfortunate, of course, obviously, but you know, like the Twin Towers going down, the Titanic going down, like just things like that. Obviously, you know, tragedies are something that people take. So in the comic world, yeah, those are, I think, always going to have something. I don't want to say cool, because like a pandemic shouldn't be something described cool, but like the fact that I think there's like 3 or 4 of them that actually have COVID on the solicitation. So
yeah, dude,
that
but
could be something. So
one kid in the future, 50 years from now, that's gonna buy your particular slab and be like, "This was owned by Newbie. He went through COVID." Like, you know what I mean?
Again, like I said, if you want me to write Newbie or Newbie verse on it, it's
1,200.
1,200. Yeah.
Fuck.
No, because Robert Downey Jr. is charging 1,200 to say Iron Man or Tony Stark. So I'll write Newbie verse or Newbie for $800.
No, CGC is charging that much for Robert Downey Jr.
I will charge
400.
I will charge nobody and just write myself in as BC number 2 forever.
Number 2. All right, guys. It is time to go. Before we go, Face, what do you got coming up on your channel, man? Mr. Previously On, Mr. Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. What do you got coming on?
I mean, you just said it right there. Check us out every Monday at 7 p.m. over on my channel or Previously On. And, of course, you can check that over here on Sundays and Mondays on the news channel.
Perfect. Sundays and Tuesdays, we are also joined.
Yeah, Sundays and Tuesdays, whatever days it is.
Are also joined by our man, Hyper. He's been absent. He had some work stuff, so he is on his way out. BC, tell the people what they need to know. What is coming up? What is going on in BC's world?
Hey, BC's world is right here in front of you guys, man. It's the Newbie verse Previously On. That's where I'm at. Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think maybe I'm gonna initiate some kind of a giveaway on Instagram. Gotta get those followers up.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
For those of you earlier, no, there's not going to be any Newbie underwear or anything like that given away for BC's thing. But guys, big news. Well, not big, but hopefully you're listening. Saturday, I'm finally going to be meeting up with these guys. So I'm going to be meeting up with Hyper. I'm going to be meeting up with Comic Dude. I'm going to be meeting up with BC.
Number 2.
So that is going to be great. Finally going to be able to meet. We're meeting in Kingston. So if you're in the area or whatever, let us know. 2, what if it comes out tomorrow? Please don't ruin it for everybody. 3, I've got a video dropping Thursday at 12. I think it's like right at midnight. So if you're up, if you're on the West Coast, make sure you guys go tune into that. Secondly, Sunday show. I will have.
He's on like number 4 and says secondly.
Number 4. Secondly, yeah, that makes no sense. That's a t-shirt right there. That's a fucking t-shirt. Due to the fact that we are meeting on Saturday and it is like 3 hours away and this and that, Sunday we might not do the show. We might have to do something a little bit different. So maybe pre-recorded or maybe canceled or maybe moved. We don't know yet, but I will keep you in the loop. Whatever happens, we will be back on Tuesday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern, regardless. Okay. But you guys will know if we do the show or not. It's going to be a long weekend. And, I do have family and things like that. We all have family. So like we can't dedicate a whole weekend, like BC's got 2 kids, so he can't dedicate, a whole weekend to just comics anymore, so things like that. So keep that in mind. Fifthly, I guess, I got that giveaway video coming out next week. So please be on the lookout for that. There's nothing crazy. We're going to run it the same way we ran the 2,000 subscriber giveaway like 2 months ago. That's how we're going to run it. All right. That is the show. Make sure to keep your pets bathed and neutered. I'm just joking. Guys, keep searching for those books because they're out there. Enjoy What If. Enjoy New Comic Book Day. Later.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.